Hello
Well,
and welcome to What Moves Us. I'm Liam Henderson. On the line is
Deb Carson, hello.
and
Johannah, Randall.
yay, everyone's together. This is our last podcast of 2025, so we thought it would be a good time to look back over our year because we've been extremely busy and we're all in different places because we're all about to disappear for Christmas, but we didn't want to finish without a quick yay, cheers for the year. So,
Cheers
think
for the year.
cheers for the year. Disclosure, Johannah is on a train, so she may come and go as we do it, but that is the fact of live podcasting. So she'll jump in, I'm sure. But Deb, what was your highlight of the year?
Oh, well, I mean, I would say that my highlight of the year is, of course, the work that we did on the Skills Beyond Scale report, which I think was kind of it sort of formed the backbone of our work, I guess, throughout 2025. I don't like using that that uh that analogy because it's what people used to say about HS2. Uh, the London to Birmingham bit was the backbone for the rest of it, and well, we can only hope that the rest of it's coming. But anyway, the Skills Beyond Scale has formed. Did you like the way I shoehorned an HS2 in at an early stage there? Um, the Skills Beyond Scales work that we've done, which was sort of developed initially from doing a survey really with our members on what they were doing in terms of skills in their own businesses, what they felt were sort of areas that were critical to the future of their business and sort of also to potentially to the future of the rail sector, and where they thought there were gaps and where they thought that it was, there were areas for collaboration and that kind of thing. And that report kind of was a bit of a launch pad for us to do a few events. And we partnered up with Avinto, one of our members, who were sort of instrumental in helping us to get that events program up and running. And we've had some really great sessions throughout the year, which we can talk about. But we went to the fancy Belgian embassy twice for the events, which was really, really nice. Thanks to our friends at Flanders House for that. We had some interesting speakers, some that we got through our sort of partnering with Avinto that were, companies like Synthema who are already using Avinto's technology. And then we had other people like Dr. Tilly Collins from Imperial College London, who came and spoke about in the last event that we did, which was much more about the sort of wider step back look at how rail can support other other sort of microeconomies across the country, and how urban sustainability relies on good rail services and good transport connections more generally. So that was that was actually a really good way to sort of wrap up that whole kind of skills piece. I thought was to sort of take a big step back and see how we can, to be honest, work better together as well, being less inward looking as an industry, which I think that those conversations really helped that as well. So yeah, that for me, that was, sorry, a very long answer to what I thought was
So
great.
your highlight of the year was the whole year.
Was the whole year. It was actually was all my work in the whole year.
Oh,
Sarah.
right.
Obviously not saying that you guys didn't do anything to support that, of course you did, but I like to think of that as my baby, that project. So yeah. All about me, really.
Brilliant. Johannah?
I'm just laughing at that. Just after our lunch last week, which was the highlight of the year. But I think I've got two highlights. One which is a personal one, which is becoming co-chair of Women in Rail Scotland. So that's really exciting, and I'm really pleased to be sharing that with Lotus, and looking forward to not just what we achieved this year as part of Women in Rail Scotland, but also some exciting stuff we're going to be doing next year as well. So that was a personal highlight. But I think also, just because it was sort of like so recent in my mind, I think the event with Heathrow Express and how great it was to sort of like see that there are operators out there who still want to answer, some of the big challenge statements, still looking for solutions, and how we're still finding ways to innovate and find new ways of collaborating. I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the new year as well.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah.
And I should, congratulations, Johannah, again. Or we'll record that publicly. Congrats on your new role in Women in Rail. And also, yes, we did have a nice time last week. Should have all mentioned that as a highlight, really. Our Christmas gathering was very jolly. But I missed I didn't actually get to the Heathrow event. So, Liam, you might want to say a bit more about that because I was double booked for something else.
Yes, you were, and you missed the Christmas drinks as well, which happened afterwards.
No.
Which is also a very good event. Well, I guess, sorry, so my highlight of the year is, I'm just looking back at the stats. Our newsletter went out this week, our final newsletter of the year, and the stats on it are about growth. And for me, it was more of the fact that you can just, even through the year, you can see more people being involved in our community and asking questions about what we're doing and coming to us on LinkedIn, wanting to get involved. And that is the highlight for me, is that we're actually clearly having an impact and clearly having our message is getting out. So I guess I'm going to go back to, yes, the highlight of the year is the whole year, but the growing interest in our group and the growing impact that we are having, going back to even the summer. We had a summer party in Bristol. Thank you for One Big Circle for hosting that. And you could see the people coming and sort of they're coming again and again, and it's now like an established part of their professional network, as it were, is the community and meeting the other startups. And one of the interesting conversations I had with some of our members in some wrap-up calls was their growing desire to get to know each other more, which can only be of benefit to everybody. So more on that for next year. Yes, another highlight of mine. I did like all our in-person events. I liked that you ran the Skills Beyond Scale ones. And I liked that I ran the Heathrow Express one last week. So it was all very good. And then culminating in a wonderful Christmas drinks that you didn't come to last week. There is a gallery of images, most of which I have not made available. But I can look at them and they are very funny.
Well, I'm glad I didn't make it for the photographs because, as ever, you always take terrible photos of me, Liam. and
I do not.
insist
I
on posting
try
them
my
on social
hardest.
media. I know. I am a person that is very difficult to take a decent photo of.
But do you
I
know
do
what I was thinking?
appreciate that.
Do you know what I was thinking about when I saw a rather glamorous shot of Liam online on a Heathrow Express trip?
Oh, you always see glamorous shots of Liam.
Always.
Photogenic.
He's really good at doing glamorous stuff of himself, but he just likes to make us look bad.
Yeah. Typical man, really. Sorry.
Oh, I just am photogenic. I can't.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
My smile.
Yeah. And delete all the bad ones.
Yeah, it's good. It did help that someone had an HD camera last week on the train. So
that was helpful then. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
that was good.
Well, talking about, because I think we're going to make this podcast fairly short and sweet, aren't we? But so I wanted to just talk a little bit about next year as well. Given that our network is growing and we are having lots more conversations, our LinkedIn profile is bigger now, and so we're getting lots of connections through that platform and others. We definitely want to do more face-to-face stuff next year. The feedback, like you said, Liam, is that our members find it really useful to actually be in a room with other people. I had to, like, for example, having Dr. Collins come and speak, who's obviously not, she kept saying, I don't know anything about rail, but she actually did know loads and connected us up with some really interesting people that were in her networks that she thought we might want to talk to. So we've got some interesting new sort of partners, venues, etc., to explore for next year when we might want to, where we might want to host some of our events, which is always nice to have some new people to explore that with. But we'll be definitely looking to our networks and beyond to support us in 2026 to do more of what we do, which I think we do very well, which is strategic engagement for our for our members, getting the right people in the room, having the right conversations at the right time. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. very
Which I
much.
think is going to be important next year, because as the a move towards nationalisation continues, it gets slightly more difficult to work out who you're supposed to talk to in a large
Yes.
organisation. And so even if you don't know the direct person to talk to, knowing someone who does know that person gets more and more important.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's lots of different places where there's lots of churn, actually. The Department for Transport, there's been quite a lot of people at the top level that are disappearing off. That's all being, there's lots of restructuring happening there. We're still waiting to get a clear picture of what the NISTA looks like, as what National Infrastructure Commission as was. They're bedding into a very new way of being, like connected to the Treasury now, all of that. So it'd be really interesting to see how that pans out. It'd be great. I mean, NISTA's going to be, well, should be, if everything, works as we as rail people, infrastructure people would hope, that it will be a key organisation really to some of the sort of long-term thinking around rail investment, etc., have, digitisation, all of that. There's lots of change at HS2 Limited. At the top level, that organisation is having a significant restructure as such. So as part of Motwell's reset. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and I think everyone's kind of waiting. We still don't have an announcement on Northern Powerhouse Rail, which is also like everybody's kind of on the edge of their seats waiting for that one. We're waiting for the announcements on HS2, the reset, as in, what's the final number that we can all get behind, what, the narrative around that, which is, it's a prize still worth having for the country, and in terms of connectivity, which I think is a really important one for all of us, because it's, if we're all looking in the supply chain for a pipeline of work, all of these projects are really important to the sector. So yeah, you're right. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of the rail reform bill, as you mentioned, Liam, GBR. Yeah, it's going to be a busy and interesting year next year, I think.
Yes, it will. I saw the Planning and Infrastructure Act is now in force.
Yes. Yes.
Came into force yesterday. So
Yes.
now hopefully we can build things faster.
Well, let's hope so.
Let's hope.
so.
Also coming up next year is the 10th anniversary of the Rail Innovation Group. That was 10th anniversary. 10 years we've been doing this. What, 10 years?
Oh.
Yeah, no.
It's absolutely fantastic, and look forward to having lots of celebrations about it.
Well, I'll have to have a celebration sometime later, the second half of next year. But we can't, we have to plan that in around Innertrans, obviously another highlight of next year.
Yes.
I expect you to have your walking shoes.
Yes.
Walking
6
around.
pairs of comfortable trainers,
Yeah.
2 per day.
Yes. So we will be targeting again there, making contacts around industry, but also helping to allow our smaller members to meet other people and find buddies on their journey through rail.
Yes, and I think it'd be interesting to hear from anyone who's got some, already got some events planned in the diary where we could perhaps support, by coming along to do a like a sort of micro networking event within an event, if you like. We tried that this year and it's worked quite well. So we're always open to those discussions. Probably worth saying that here.
Yes. And we are going to do a joint one with ITS, our partners now, Intelligent Transport Systems, another membership community, but for all modes, but on connected transport. And we are going to do a joint event at the UK Rail Conference in May. So that'll be a joint meet and greet for our small members and their small members, so everyone could be friends with each other.
Is that a UK Rail 26 event at the NEC in Birmingham?
It is something to look forward to. Johannah, what are you looking forward to next year?
I'm looking forward to going to Berlin, provided we can afford it, because it's horrendously expensive to go. more expensive than ever, I think, looking at hotels and that. I've been sort of like doing a bit of shopping around, but I don't have much planned at the moment for next year. But one of the things that I'm hoping that we will get to do, and I know I sort of like mentioned this to you last week, is that we will do a female founders event as part of my role with Women in Rail, but also with Rail Innovation Group, because we do have some good female founders within our group. Is to share some of that, because I've been saying to people that I hadn't really recognized, even though I have had my own startup as well, is only 2% of startups are females. And so I think it would be really good to have a shout out and sort of like put some spotlight on some of the good things that females have done, but also to get some females into the industry as well. So find some new startups, because after all, that is part of the raison d'etre of Rail Innovation Group, is to improve diversity. So I think it would be good to live up to some of our own values and promote that.
Yes, agreed.
I just want to add something else as well about sort of like something to look forward to next year, because although when I talked about the HS2 reset and we talked about rail reform and that, and I think there's always a danger in these periods that everyone thinks, oh, sort of like we've got this level of uncertainty and things aren't going to change and that. But I think what we as a group can be demonstrating is that change can still happen even when there's uncertainty. And it's during these times that we should be looking to innovate more. And so it'll be good to engage with our community and also with the FTO and the operators on that, in order to sort of like, set direction from what their challenges are and how we can help them.
Yes.
Definitely. Yes to all of that.
Yeah. And I think it's an important message that, yes, there is transition, but rail seems to have been in transition and uncertainty for about 15 years. So, and things have still happened and people have still procured solutions, and the never-ending change is just more and more opportunities for small companies that can find a route in to sell their wares. I would not wait for the end of the transition to be thinking about selling to rail.
Yeah.
So we've had a lovely look at this year, and next year I'm going to spring a question on you that I already have an answer to. But while you think about the answer, I'll do mine, which is, what is the thing that you were most surprised at this year as part of the work and the activities of the Rail Innovation Group? For me, I'll give you time to think, is how fast small companies can adapt to technological developments. Because if you've gone back a year, no one in our industry was talking about agentic tech or agents. And at the Heathrow Express event we did last week, almost half the solutions were agentic tech-based solutions that were actually built and ready to use, not just talking about conceptual things that could go into procurement. They were there, live solutions ready. And when you look at the wider industry and how long it takes to procure anything, the mismatch between what the startups and the tech companies are doing and what the public sector rail operators want is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it sort of feeds back to the Skills Beyond Scale, where we said, look back into the community, because they're developing the tech that you're going to have to accommodate. And it just surprised me how fast people have just come up with solutions.
Yeah, that's true. And I think what surprised me, which is sort of connected to that in a way, is the discussions that I've had with lots of people over the course of this year about how slow some of the procurement routes are for some of this stuff, which is so it's completely misaligned with how fast the technology is emerging and evolving and being utilized in different ways across the sector, or could be potentially, and how poorly equipped the current procurement sort of process that we seem to find ourselves in is for that kind of fast evolving technology. And I think that's really something that struck me, and something that we should and could potentially do more on, is how we just encourage the government really to speed it all up.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Sorry, I was just about to say nothing has surprised me.
Oh, good. Sorry, guys. So,
well, it was a lovely year.
it was a lovely year.
We achieved an awful lot, and I'm
Yes.
going to take a few days off to repose before we enter 2026.
Yes, me too.
Full steam ahead.
Merry Christmas to all of you, my lovely team, and to all of our members for being so supportive and brilliant through this year.
And here's to successful 2026.
Happy Christmas.